Greetings, people of the internet. It's Friday. You know what that means? It's Fanart Friday. So I am doing another 80s robot. This time it's number 5, Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. No disassemble. Okay, here we go with another Fan Art Friday, and let's just pretend that you didn't see the link when you clicked on it, and you don't know what I'm drawing. Yeah, if I would have thought about it, I think it's like Shark Week, and it's also the week of Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. So I probably should have done something with a shark or like Jaws or something. That would have been a cool one to do actually, or something from comic books. But no. I guess I didn't have the forethought for that, so I'm just going to continue drawing some robots from classic '80s movies. So this is number 5 from Short Circuit, or Johnny 5 is later. I think for most of the first movie he was just referred to as number 5, and then later he decided to rename himself Johnny 5, and and then the sequel, Short Circuit 2, there's also a sequel to this movie. So probably not as good as the first one, but I don't know. I probably had some laughs. I haven't seen either one in a while, so it's been a really long time since I've seen them. So I might have to give it a rewatch. I don't know, if it'll still. I remember as a kid loving this movie. I just thought it was funny and everything, and but I think it's it's probably a little predictable. You've probably seen. They've remade, they've kind of they've done this particular thing, whether it's a robot or like an android or something like that, and trying to become sentient, or well, I guess robots would be just being able to think for themselves, and with artificial intelligence. I mean, there are tons of movies like that. Just recently, the Chappie, which I still haven't seen. But Chappie seems like it's kind of like an adult version of Short Circuit. That I heard a lot of people saying that, but yeah, this is the original, and I don't know. It inspired quite a few things. I mean, obviously, if you look at him, he looks a lot. There's definitely some resemblances to Wall-E from the Pixar movie Wall-E. He's got the treads and kind of this similar face and everything, and if you've ever been on Star Tours, and I know they recently redid it within the past 2 or 3 years or whatever. I haven't been over to see that. I haven't been to Disneyland in a while. I used to love going there. We used to go like pretty much every year, but I haven't been back in a while. And there's like a lot of new stuff. So I am going to California, I think, this month, but I don't know if I don't think we're going to Disneyland. I think we're just gonna check out the beach and stuff like that, but I do want to get over there and see. But anyway, there was, I don't know if it's still there, but there was a couple of robots, and they kind of guide you through the tour and everything, the Star Tours, before you get on the ride and everything. And one looks very suspiciously like number 5 here. Even the voice, if I remember correctly, is very similar. But yeah, it's weird because it does. Short Circuit, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Disney movie. I know it wasn't Disney. I don't know if it was, they had some other production companies back then, but I don't think it was. But it kind of has that Disney feel. It kind of has almost like a Spielberg feel to it, but Spielberg wasn't involved either. But it does kind of fit along with those type of movies, and that's probably why I like it so much. It's definitely, I like a lot of those movies of the '80s. But yeah, it almost, it's funny because it could almost be a crossover with another one of my favorite films, Goonies, because I guess they both took place in Astoria in Oregon. That's where Goonies took place, and then Short Circuit took place there too. So why they never did a crossover, I don't know. Maybe in the comics they always do. They always do crossovers and things like that in comics. But anyway, so I'll just draw our attention back to the actual drawing, getting ready to start inking here. And I really had a lot of fun with this one just because he's, of course he's a robot, which I love to draw robots, but there's it's, how do I explain it? It's just a lot of different like shapes and the way he's put together, and like loose wires and thin parts, and just the way everything kind of connects. Different than like drawing a mech that's more almost like a tank, like where it's armored and everything. He really doesn't have a lot of armor, which is weird because he was designed to be like a military robot, and the piece on his shoulder is like a laser cannon, which later, spoilers for a movie that's I don't know how old. It was what came out in '86, I think, but it was he disabled the when number 5 became alive and everything, and decided he didn't want to kill people or anything with this laser cannon. He deactivated it and everything, and he did something with it. He painted it, put a little smiley face on it. I forgot. It's been a while. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it, but he may have did something to it, like used it as like, I don't know if he used it as like a toolbox to carry stuff or something, but anyway, yeah, for a military robot, I guess offensively with the lasers and everything is good, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like he definitely he definitely got shot up a few times and it didn't have much of a defense to him. So, but and then of course there were other ones. That's why he's number 5. He was actually the 5th robot in the series. And of course the other ones were all military as well, so they had to battle each other and I don't know. It was a good movie, but yeah, I don't know. Back to guess got me thinking of Disneyland again. But yeah, I guess they did a lot of stuff. I don't know what all they did in Tomorrowland, but I know they redid Star Tours. So yeah, I should get over there and check that out. See what that is, because that was kind of one of my favorite rides. Although it did after a while. With the technology and stuff, because it's a motion ride and everything, and after a while it kind of became, as technology progressed, and you're flying in a ship, and the film actually gets a little old, and you can tell that it's not as crisp and everything. So but still kind of one of my favorite rides. And the thing about Disneyland, and I'm really inspired by, I've always been inspired by just the stuff that the Imagineers did for rides and things at Disneyland. That's kind of how I got into doing like props and things. Back when I did videos, I would always, every time I go to Disneyland, I take a camera and I take a bunch of pictures. And there's so many little things that you might not notice. But it's more with that compared to something like, say, a Magic Mountain or a Knott's Berry Farm or something, where you go, the rides are some people would say more thrilling, but they don't have that story behind it. And to me, as a storyteller, or a visual storyteller, I just think I appreciate what Disney puts into their attractions a lot more than, sure, I love the crazy roller coasters and the big giant ones, and ones that go around and upside down and all that stuff too. They're fun, but I really appreciate the story. But yeah, so I would always go to Disneyland. I take pictures, and just had this big file of different inspirations and things. And I've got one of my favorite books is just a book on Imagineering, and this thing is so dog-eared, and it's got a dust cover that's all ripped and falling apart. But still to this day, I always look back at that, because you get to see some of the ideas that they did to design some of these rides that never actually came to fruition. Like they would, just some of the original concepts and things like that. But it's, I don't know if it's just called Disney Imagineering. Now I can't even pronounce it. Imagineering. But yeah, it's like one of my all-time favorite books. But so when I used to work on a children's show, and we I kind of learned how to that's where I learned how to build things out of foam and props and things like that. And if you see my Comic-Con booth, I still use a lot of those techniques. I kind of adapt it to my theme and my branding, and having, and the whole, having a kind of a mad scientist feel to most of the stuff that I do. But all that stuff, all the pieces and everything were done out of foam, and it's a lot of kind of what they do at theme parks to build, to build rocks and to build, basically anything that doesn't exist in reality. Unless it's something they have to mass produce, then they'll usually like do some sort of a vacuum form thing. But like if you go to Las Vegas, a lot of the um, just a lot of the statues and just when they recreate, saying they're trying to recreate Rome or something for Caesar's Palace, a lot of that stuff is carved out of foam and it's hard coated, and if they do a good job painting it and everything, you can't really tell the difference. So it's a really cool medium to work with. So I'd like to get a chance to do more stuff. Every once in a while I'll do a little bit here and there, but it's really fun to work on. And it all kind of comes back to my love of like, I don't just set building and building an environment that tells a story, and it's funny because some people ask me why mad scientist, why an evil genius theme or something like that. And for one, I just think it's fun, but it really steeped all the way back to when I was creating this children's show. The show is called The Adventures of Alex, and it's Adventures of Alex the Ape. And my partner in that endeavor, he had a pet gibbon ape, and he kind of wanted to make him a role model for kids. So we developed this whole story behind it and everything. But the main villain was this mad scientist, and the story had an environmental theme, and so the mad scientist was basically he didn't really he didn't care about the environment, didn't care about anything. He just was trying to build inventions and sell them. So he created this invention. It was basically something that could be used like for firefighters to help them, so they wouldn't get burnt when they go into fires and everything. But instead of that, instead of just selling it to firefighters or something and trying to profit that way, he wanted to be able to sell it to every single person in the world. So in order to do that, he was going to destroy the ozone layer, so the earth would become so hot that everyone would need these suits, and he'd just sell them like hotcakes. So that's kind of the guy he was. But that was, even back then, that was kind of the first thing that, I don't know, I took that character, and so we designed a lab for him and his set and everything, and I've probably got pictures of it somewhere, and of course somewhere on VHS video cassette is the pilot we shot for that. But anyway, yeah, so the mad scientist thing goes way back to that. I mean, that was kind of the beginning of it, and then from there I just like drawing all these crazy Rube Goldberg-esque type contraptions and things like that, and that's where it came from. But back to Short Circuit, it's kind of, again, he's kind of, number 5 is kind of built like that. His all these weird intertwining pieces, and just in a way he almost seems, I mean, there's a science to it, but in a way when you draw them, and when I did this rendering, there's certain things that aren't totally accurate. I kind of filled in the blanks on some things, but I don't know, I like drawing these type of robots. And if you've seen the one that I did with the robot that crash landed and everything, I like to have pieces falling off, and and this probably goes back to like C-3PO, where his chest plate is not chest plate, but where his torso is, you see all the wires, and that always intrigued me, because he's pretty solid type robot, but he's got all these exposed wires, and it just, I like drawing that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's Short Circuit, or number 5, Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. If you'd like, you guys can follow me. I've got some videos you can check out, but yeah, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Any other characters you want me to draw, but until then, that is all.